Brock Bowers is officially out for Sunday's game against the Titans. The young tight end, the one glimmer of hope in an offense that's been running on fumes, is sidelined again with that nagging PCL injury. He hasn't practiced in 6 straight sessions, missed last week's matchup, and now, the team's walking into one of their biggest tests without him. This isn't just a small setback, this is a gutting loss. Because Bowers isn't just another rookie, he's been the heartbeat of the offense, a rare spark on a roster that's been struggling to find rhythm, identity, and any kind of consistency. When the rest of the unit looked lost, Bowers made plays. He was the security blanket for Geno Smith, a reliable outlet when everything else fell apart. And now he's gone, right when they need him most. What's frustrating, infuriating, even is how preventable this might have been. The Raiders knew he had this injury. They knew he was pushing through pain, and yet, they kept putting him out there. Football's a brutal game. Every snap is a gamble, and the line between grit and recklessness is razor thin. When you've got a young player with a PCL problem, you're tempting fate by keeping him active. And now, the worst-case scenario has unfolded. 2 straight weeks out, no practice, no timeline, and no real answers. You have to ask the hard questions. Did they mismanage this? Did they make it worse by refusing to shut him down earlier? Was the short-term push for production worth risking his long-term health? Someone in that organization, whether it's the medical staff or the coaching staff, owes this fan base some accountability. But losing Bowers, as painful as it is, isn't even the biggest disaster hovering over this team. No, that honor goes to the situation brewing under center. Geno Smith is on borrowed time, and everyone knows it. This is it. His last shot to prove he deserves to keep that starting job. His last chance to convince the Raiders that he's the guy to lead them forward. Because right now, he looks like a quarterback at the edge of a cliff. 9 interceptions already this season. An offense that can't score. A locker room that's running out of patience. And the worst part, there's nobody behind him who can take over. The backup plan is Kenny Pickett. And let's be honest, if Pickett was the answer, he wouldn't have been shown the door in Pittsburgh. So the Raiders are trapped in a nightmare. A quarterback who's struggling, and a bench that's completely barren. And now they face the Titans, the one opponent that should be a gift, a reset button, a confidence booster. Tennessee has been a disaster all season long. Their offense sputters. Their defense leaks big plays. They're one of the worst teams in football. On paper, this is the kind of matchup the Raiders should win. But with how dysfunctional this team has looked, is anything really guaranteed? Last week, the Raiders managed 6 points. 6. That's not just bad, that's offensive malpractice. You can't win NFL games scoring 6 points. Not in this league. And if you can't put up numbers against a bottom feeder like the Titans, then what hope do you have against anyone else? This game isn't just another Sunday. It's a moment of truth. If the Raiders lose to Tennessee, this season's done. There's no salvaging it. The team's spirit will break. The locker room will splinter. And the whispers about rebuilding again will turn into full-blown roars. Geno Smith has to rise above it. He has to play the game of his life. No more excuses. No more, we'll get it next week. He needs to move the ball, stretch the field, score touchdowns, and finally look like the leader this team believed he could be. Because if he throws a couple more interceptions and the Raiders walk away with another embarrassing loss, it's over. The fan base will be done with him. And honestly, who could blame them? But there's a bigger issue here, one that's been festering for a while. Pete Carroll's leadership. This entire situation circles back to him. His handling of quarterbacks has always been complicated, and now it's biting the Raiders just like it once did the Seahawks. Carroll's biggest flaw isn't strategy or motivation, it's accountability. He coddles his quarterbacks. Always has. Always will. We saw it with Russell Wilson. Carroll built Wilson up so much that he started believing he was untouchable, literally asking for his own office in the facility. The culture that once made Seattle dominant fractured under that ego. The Legion of Boom broke apart. The locker room turned toxic, and the team's championship window slammed shut. Now, the same playbook is unfolding with Geno Smith. Carroll boosted him, protected him, inflated his confidence, and to be fair, it worked for a while. Smith had a few strong seasons, but the problem with constant praise is that it dulls accountability. Geno started believing his own hype. And now, when he's playing poorly, instead of hearing tough truths, he's being coddled again. Carroll steps up to the podium after games where Smith throws multiple picks and calls him solid. How do you call a performance solid when your quarterback throws a game-changing interception in the red zone? When he derails drives and kills momentum? That's not coaching, that's denial. After one particularly brutal outing, when Smith threw 3 interceptions, a reporter asked Carroll if he'd considered making a change. Carroll's response, "No, we're not there, not there. What more needs to happen? How many turnovers, how many losses, before this coaching staff wakes up?" Because the message being sent to the locker room is crystal clear. It doesn't matter how badly you play. The coach will protect you. And that's dangerous. That breeds complacency. That kills competition. Sure, Carroll might think he's protecting Geno's confidence, He doesn't want to break his quarterback mentally, but that's not leadership, that's avoidance. Real leadership is about balance. It's about saying, yes, I believe in you, while also demanding accountability. It's about being honest enough to admit when things aren't working and brave enough to make hard decisions. Carroll's refusal to do that is exactly why this team feels stuck, because nobody's being pushed to be better. Everyone's being told they're fine, even when the tape says otherwise. So here we are. The Raiders are battered, bruised, and desperate. Their star tight end is out. Their quarterback is clinging to his job. Their head coach is playing the same tune that once led to a locker room collapse. And all of it comes to a head this Sunday against the Titans. If they can't pull it together now, if they can't find some heart, some fire, some pride, then this season will go down as another wasted year in a long line of wasted years. Now, Raiders Nation, I want to hear from you. Is this the end of the line for Geno Smith? Do you think Pete Carroll's coaching style is holding this team back? And can the Raiders find a way to save their season without Brock Bowers on the field? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you want to stay locked in with all the latest drama, analysis, and updates from around the NFL, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown. Because trust me, the story of this Raiders season is far from over.